And then he explains about what are the hindrances and how to remove it. So I want to discuss on that actually. So anyway, I guess it is all related. When you talk about hindrances, it will also help in establishing this Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dhamma, all that. So it is related to Viveka Chudamani also, I think.
Yes.
One day.
Yes, definitely. It will be
Yes.
appearing in Viveka Chudamani, maybe different avatar.
In different names have been used, but here the different words have been used, but at least you get some practical way to do things. So I wanted to discuss on that.
Yeah.
So yesterday you told Vilas that you don't need samadhi to reach liberated, but then I listened to your video, then I understood that you have to have.
So now it is contradictory. When I ended the call, I remembered you.
Yeah, but I think it's not a conflict either. But if you are restless and if you are anxious, is what I understood, then you need to have dhyana. If you do not have,
Then you
maybe
don't.
somebody like Shankaracharya and all, they have reached the
Yes.
stage, so in this life they don't need that dhyana.
Correct.
That's how I interpreted it.
You are right. Absolutely right. So generally, if we are, it's not about restlessness. It is, first thing is we are anxious of things. To remove the anxiety, the only way you can do is to have the dhyana. In fact, Sri Lankan, that's what I was talking about. Sri Lankans don't believe that you require dhyana at all.
Yeah. So that one guy was there, no? Lasanta.
Yeah.
What's the names? Okay.
So I had stayed at his home. So then when we went to whichever monastery, they tried asking me whether I do dhyana or not. If I say I do dhyana, then they feel that I'm an inferior person.
Okay.
Because they consider dhyana is a Hindu way of looking, and Hindus feel that dhyana is a Buddhist way of looking. So I don't know how this has got formed. So,
But if you see Buddha, it's always shown in that dhyana posture, right?
yes, that is correct. So there are three traditions, Lata. One is a Thai tradition, one is a Sri Lankan tradition, one is a Burmese tradition. So what they have done is, each one have taken one part of what Buddha has said. So the Buddha's teaching in Sri Lanka majorly revolves around investigation. They don't believe in sitting in one place and meditating or looking at your breath or this or that. They feel that is a waste of time. And they feel that that will not lead you to liberation. Okay. And that process of calming your mind is called as samatha. And that is also there in Bhagavad Gita when we went into the 6th chapter. He talks about samatha. So the same samatha they also talk about. So Buddha view on samatha is the same, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad or his own teaching. He says that that is a must to achieve to a certain level. Now that is common, but what Sri Lankans feel is that if you practice samatha for a long time, then your mind will get addicted to jhana or dhyana, so it will not do investigation. Okay, this is one view of Sri Lankans. Now we come to the Burmese. The Burmese feel that you have to do dhyana only. You shouldn't do anything else other than dhyana, and the investigation should be done within the dhyana. That what Sri Lankans call about investigation, they want to do the investigation within the dhyana. This is the second view of the same Buddha's teaching. So in Pali it is called as vipassana, and in Sanskrit it is called as vidarshana. So whether you are studying Viveka Chudamani or you are studying Bhagavad Gita or you are studying Buddha, you are studying whatever, ultimately you get that wow moment. You pick it up. You say that now I understand. and that now I understand is called as vidarshana. So you get that knowledge all by yourself. Okay, so the teacher will show the way and the student will then practice in his own or her own way and get it clarified from teacher, and teacher says yes, that is how it should be, and then he has already achieved whatever has to be achieved. Now he is ready to move forward. So this vidarshana followed by samatha is what is there in every tradition. So let's say we have this shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is investigation. Manana is like your meditation, where you internalize it, just like you have a cup of coffee and you have to play it within your tongue before you sip it off. So you will enjoy that coffee in that turning around of the coffee in your mouth. Normally we just gulp it, we don't drink. So you need to play it around your tongue, and that is called as manana. So when we learn something, we are supposed to play it around within our mind through dhyana. Okay, and then you get into nididhyasana, which is investigation, because now you are getting into the nidhi, which is the treasure. Dhyasana is to extensively search for the treasure. So you have been pointed out the treasure and you have mentally worked out on the strategy on how you want to unearth the treasure, and the nididhyasana would make you to get that treasure. So this is what in Vedanta, and since we don't have a proper way of looking at how to get these three, Buddha teaching will have all of it, how you should do it. So he will give you how you should do the vidarshana or vipassana and how you should get into samatha, both of them. So different tradition follow different approaches, but then they claim that this is okay, that is not okay, because of the passage of time, when a lot of distortions can take place. So step-by-step approach of getting into liberation is, first one, just like in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you start with yama. So when we start with yama, there is no indication or there is nothing to give you a how about it. How should you become?
Yeah.
How should you become ahimsa?
Yeah, right. Correct. That's right. So how to become ahimsa is not mentioned.
Is not mentioned. It only prescribes that you should have ahimsa. So you should have satya, you should have brahmacharya, you should have asteya, and then aparigraha. So all these five. Now the question comes, how do I become a brahmachari? There is no answer to that. It only gives you what is meaning of brahmachari, but it doesn't tell you how you can become a brahmachari and what steps you need to follow and how that can be verified, and who is going to tell you that you are already a brahmachari. That information is not there. So the nearest source which is best suited for liberation is Patanjali Yoga Sutra than any Upanishad or anything, because he has taken from there and presented it in a very nice with the morality coming first. This is exactly what Shankaracharya has also done. He's talked about, he starts with Viveka Vairagya. So what is real, what is unreal? That is, Jagat is unreal and everything else seems to be real. Now you remove the Jivi, then you are only in Ishvara. So that is what you are supposed to be doing. So to do that, you require morality, moral values. Normally, by nature, we are himsaka. Why? Because we have traveled in different bodies to come to this level. So generally we are himsa. So Mahavira, that's the reason he said ahimsa paramo dharma, because if you know that one, the remaining things are easy. So generally, even though we are non-veg eaters, but internally we are himsaka people. We don't mind doing anything to get what we want. That is there in our nature. So whatever caste or religion or whatever we belong to, it doesn't really matter. What is there is that we are generally of this. So what Buddha did is that he created 3 sections. First section is called as morality, called Shila, and in Pali it is called as Sila, and the Samadhi remains as Samadhi. Then the third one, the Prajna in Sanskrit, becomes Panya in Pali. Now coming to the Shila or Sila. Now you need to establish 5 or 8 or 10 or as many Sila you want to establish, and there is a way of doing it also. So generally what people do is they first say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa, and then they say Buddham Saranam Gacchami and all that, and then they just establish the Sila for that moment and then they start. That will not work, because there are 5 indriyas which block you from moving forward. So the first blockage that we get into is indriya. That is what viveka is all about. To know what is unreal, and then come into vairagya, which is what? Removing the thirst for sensual objects is what vairagya is all about. So if we don't have vairagya, you cannot achieve anything. Whether it is dhyana or you want to go to investigation, that is not possible. So if we manana itself will not happen, only shravana is going to happen. So we will end up being in shravana, listening to discourses from this person or that person, and maybe once in a while find some time for slightly put it within our mouth, just like having a coffee and just turning it around in the mouth before gulping it. We might do the manana in that way. Whereas nididhyasana, for doing that, you require to be having this ability to penetrate, for which Shila is required. And he talks about how to implement the Shila. So one difference you can find out is he gives you that detailed explanation on how you should implement it and what you should do. So he gives you what and how you can verify whether that Shila is established in you or not. Now let's say it is established, and then the second step is to look at these 5 sensual hindrances through indriya samvara. Samvara means taking them by the horn. So you take each senses by the horn, break the horn, just like a wild bull, and it is going to create a lot of issues. So you cut that horn. So now no longer it can do anything. Or you tame the bull. That's a better way of putting it. So 5 senses are like 5 strands of thread, and this is the same thing what even Krishna says, that it's like 5 horses and you are the Sarathi. If you allow the senses to drive you, they drive you nuts. That's what he says, but he doesn't say how you can tame it. You have to find a way to tame it. Whereas Buddha says that here is what you need to do to tame it. So this is the second step after the Sila. Then the hindrances, 5 hindrances like what we spoke about. One is sensual, and another one is ill will, what we are going to get, and then the third one is sloth and torpor, which is nothing but a mind becomes very sluggish and slow, and then it becomes like a procrastinating kind of mind. I will see it tomorrow. And then you have restlessness and worry. And in this worry comes anxiety and also repentance. Oh, yesterday I should have done that. I should have meditated, or I should have did this. I should have did that. I shouldn't have spoken to him like that. And now what is going to happen as a consequence of that? So that is part of the kukucha. A word in Pali is called kukucha. Sanskrit is that kukracha, meaning a person is consistently being poked, which we call it as guilt consciousness. So there's a poking which is happening. You shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done that. And now the mind starts to becoming very remorse of the situation, that yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Then another thought will say you shouldn't have done that. Then another thought will say that no, what I did was right. At that situation, that was the best thing I could have done. So this is called as kukrucha in Sanskrit and kukucha in Pali. Means it's like somebody is poking, and that poking creates anxiety, and the same poking will result in stress, which can be called as repentance. So you repent basically. So then we call in that Sanskrit word called paschatapa. That shouldn't be done by any spiritual person if he is spiritual, because paschatapa takes him to lower realm of existence. So he shouldn't do paschatapa, but what he should do is he should not repeat it again. That mistake shouldn't be repeated again, but there's no point in doing paschatapa. And also going and seeking forgiveness with that person. Hey, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Then he says, I will not pardon you. And this guy pleads, and then that is anxiety. So there is loss of face or relationship and all that. And all of that is a hindrance. And final hindrance is the doubt, skeptical doubt on where I should do, what I should do, whom should I approach, all of that. So after this, you are ready for samadhi. And if then the samadhi is established, the panya, that is the prajna, gets established. So this is how the jnana is presented by Buddha, and it's a different approach when we come to Vedanta. So now, do you require meditation? Answer is yes and no. If you don't have any agitation or any kind of repentance, then you don't have to. You can skip that step and directly keep on investigating. So you don't have to go into manana route, because you already have that manana as part of Shravana itself. And that's what basically Sri Lankans believe, that as you listen, like what he was explaining yesterday, as you listen, you keep on reflecting, and as you keep on reflecting, you keep on gaining. As you keep on gaining, the knowledge keeps on coming. So you don't have to necessarily do anything extra. Yeah, Lata, you want to ask?
Yeah. So I think all are correct, but it depends on which level you are in. Right? So maybe you said 3 different ways of Buddhism.
Correct.
So and it all depends on in which level you are in. So you are already in the last level, you have done enough manana and all that. You can directly go into, you can directly reach wherever. You may not need dhyana at all.
Right.
But then if you are starting a little bit lower, then you have to start with something else. So it is depends on what your level is.
Yes. So for that reason, Buddha
I think that is what is.
Yeah, for that reason only he recommends both. Don't go by assumptions, you better do it. That's what he says. You will come to know whether you have that hindrances yourself or not. So that is what he says.
Yeah.
So that's all of the summary of yesterday.
Yeah, that is fine. But then, I think maybe for that it would be good that you can explain that 9 levels of jhana.
which way I had done it when you three had done it actually. Anyway, I can talk about that. Yeah, so
Yeah, I forgot about that. I have time till 8:58.
okay, 6 minutes.
6
Fine.
more minutes. Yeah.
In 6 minutes I can cover, so don't worry.
Okay.
See, but it is like you say Om or you say Gayatri or whatever you say, and you say for 7 times. It is 28 in total as a repetition. 7 times if you say something, the previous thought object will get disconnected. Okay, so let's say I am in stress and I start uttering Om. In the place of that thought which was there, which was causing me stress, this Om will make it a relief. It's a temporary, but it is good to have a relief. Now when you have this relief, it is called as Savitarka. That means you have done a tarka. Tarka means to debate. So you have debated on which thought you should entertain and which thought you should not entertain. So I've entertained the Om and you have removed the other one. So the Vichara thinking will be now on this Om. So that will take you to first dhyana level, meaning there is no other thought except for Om. Now, normally in Hindu, you will never get into the second dhyana because you will keep on repeating Om. You are supposed to drop that Om, and then you will get into a second stage called as Preeti, where your body is filled with joy of understanding Om. But generally what happens is we keep on repeating Om. Then you get into the third jhana where you even drop that Preeti. Now you get into Sukha, which is complete happiness without any condition. Om was a condition, now that condition is removed. So there is no longer any requirement for that Om to be there. This is the third. Then you start to see yourself in a bright light, which is your astral body, the Manasika Sharira, and you can come out of your body and stand in front of you, to your body, your physical body, and for the very first time, you will see how your body is getting disintegrated. The moment you are out of the body, you can see how, just like a football, the air is going out, how it goes inside. You can see your aging happening. So now you know that associating with your body is such a dangerous thing to do, because you have to keep on refilling it with air, which is what the food we take. Then these are called as Rupa Jhana, meaning they will, if you die at that moment, they will establish you in Rupa realm, which is nothing but the sensual realm of existence, including human. Then there are 4 Arupa. So every scripture of Vedanta talks about Arupa. Going to Arupa is the best thing. So then there is infinite space, wherein you will really experience yourself being in space. The more you expand, the more you are spacious. So that's the first Brahma realm of existence, because now you are spacious, all spacious. Then you second Brahma level of existence will be infinite consciousness. You will see yourself in everything and everything emanating from you. Like one, what we can say, if you have seen this on the sea, you have this lighthouse. So you become the lighthouse for every given beings who are in search of light. So that is infinite consciousness. Then you come into nothingness, equivalent to your deep sleep state. Well, just a stage before Turiya. You have disconnected all the senses from the sense objects, so they are just happy. Then you come to the stage of neither perception nor non-perception. This is where our Vedanta ends. They think that they have reached the ultimate, because now you are pure consciousness without a reason, but there is a perception of I still existing. So what Buddha did is he added the ninth one, wherein there is neither perception nor any feeling, because all that I comes due to a feeling, not due to perception alone. So the Vedanta or the Upanishad and everything talks about the perception, whereas Buddha speaks about feeling and perception. So the mind is completely shut out. That is the ninth one. So exactly 1 minute before your departure, I have ended.
I have taken complete notes. But I got sixth and seventh. In between some step I missed it. Maybe I will tomorrow we can discuss on that. Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah. So this is what.
Now for me, Shankara, whatever so far we have been discussing, and it is Buddha has got something beyond that. Yes, I am interested to go in the same direction.
Sure, no worries. So this is what is the difference between the Vedanta and the Buddha. So Vedanta starts from Sat and Buddha starts from Asat.
Okay, Vilas, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
We will discuss on Monday.
Monday, yeah. Okay, bye.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, Lata, what shall we continue next?
So next we will continue. I was thinking that we should continue on the hindrances only.
Okay.
So you are explaining that first one, the sensual desires.
Yeah.
Right. So all of us have in one way or the other, unless and until you really have liberated, you still have those sensual desires, right?
Correct.
So how to remove it? So I think you explained it a little bit. Maybe you can
I can
give more clarity on that.
Yeah. See, the first one, sensual desire. So you have to take the weakest and then take the strongest. You can't take the strongest first and try to do something about it. So why do we have sensual desire? Because we have senses.
Yes.
Otherwise there is no desire. In fact, we wouldn't have been born if there were no desire for senses. So out of 5 senses, what I have to do is to check on the sense which is very strong. One of the sense will be very strong, another sense will be very weak. So now I can modify. So let's say smell is my weakest. Like in my wife, smell is the strongest. She can sense a smell from far. So if she starts doing something about that, it will never happen because very strong. You have to first loosen it up, and then you can pull it from the ground. So if she wants to win over the senses of smell, she has to handle the remaining 4, and this becomes weak.
Okay.
So in her case, the taste is not that strong. So you have to start with taste. What is tasting? And ignore the taste. Meaning, don't give value to that taste. As it is weak. It will go away. See, nobody likes to eat bland food, right?
That's true. Yeah.
But you are eating the same food, but it becomes bland inside your mouth. In reality, also, when we put it in our mouth, it turns to be bland. After we bite the food, when we are gulping inside, there is no taste. So that is the reality. That is the reality. So we have to keep on reflecting on that. So then the taste becomes bland. Now let's say that means by unconscious also it becomes blind, conscious also it becomes blind. So there are 4 states of consciousness. Somebody had come to my home yesterday to understand about Buddha teaching. So I was telling something similar to this. So now it is the right time to tell you that. So there are 4 stages of consciousness. One stage of consciousness is you're conscious. Right now we are all conscious. Then there is something called as subconscious. So sometimes while we are conscious, we are also subconscious of something which is happening. Then we have the third one called as unconscious. The intuition arrives in unconscious mind. What we call is intuition comes on the surface of the subconscious. So the person doesn't even know that something of that exists, and that's the reason it's called as unconscious mind. Then finally is supreme consciousness, which knows everything. These are the 4. That is all knower, all seer, all pervading, all of that. So there are 4 consciousness.
Yeah, all those 4 are there. All these 4 are there in us.
Yes, in every one of us, including animals, including Deva.
Only thing is we don't know.
Only thing we don't know. So Deva and Brahma they don't have anything called as unconscious mind. They are always conscious. They don't have subconscious. But they are not supreme conscious. You got the point?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got the point, yes.
So
there are a lot of layers we don't know. Actually, Brahmas will know their past lives clearly. Devas will also know. And for us, it is hidden, unconscious.
It's unconscious, correct. So what we do for the entire lifetime of ours is to be conscious of conscious. That's all. Whatever I have been taught to you, so you are conscious of it. So your name is Lata. You say, yeah, my name is Lata. That's all. Finished. You are wife of so and so. Yes, I am wife of so and so. You have one female child. Yes, I have a daughter. Correct. You are working for this company. Yes, I am working for that company. And lead the life forever. So we will not get into even unconscious mind. Subconscious mind. Forget about going all the way to unconscious. So this layer of the mind is never known. But sometime at the time of death or at the time of a danger, at the time of a accident or whatever, this subconscious mind gets opened up to unconscious mind. And the vasanas which
Sorry, Vilas. I think for some few seconds my internet went down. So
okay. So
I was
that's okay.
asking something. I didn't hear what you were telling.
Yeah, go ahead. You were asking something, so you can ask.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever spiritual sadhanas we have done, right? It will be there in subconscious or unconscious till the time it is coming out.
Yeah, so partially it will be there in subconscious, and majorly like you have a tip of iceberg, right?
Yes.
The tip of iceberg is subconscious. The complete glacier itself is unconscious. The flat ground is supreme conscious.
Super. Yeah.
So each person has this glacier. And he calls this is me. Not realizing that that glacier is going to melt away into the same water. And because of that subconscious association, the conscious is that tip, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you keep on mending that tip with all kind of worldly information.
But nothing, everything else remains as is.
Yes,
Down.
it remains as is down, untouched.
Unearthed. Yes.
Unearthed.
Yeah, untouched.
Untouched. So generally during an accident or during an incident, during something, a crack opens up in that glacier
Mm.
and the water pours down.
Mm.
It pours onto the unconscious mind.
Mm.
Then the vasanas which are stored down there immediately come on the surface, which was never there. So let's say my spiritual quest would have been there in the unconscious mind. The death situation which happened in 1995 triggered me to get that from unconscious mind. Lata, are you there? Lata? Lata, are you there? Yeah, Lata. I think you are.
Okay, I don't know that the connection is acting up, so I just connected via the mobile hotspot.
Okay, no worries. So now what I was saying to you is that crack causes you to get into the unconscious mind.
Mm.
So in 1995, when I had an out of body experience, that created the crack.
Mm.
Till then, I had nothing to do with spirituality.
Correct.
So this unconscious mind had this impression of spirituality.
Mm.
So it came out. So whatever was available there came out.
Mm.
So it came to subconscious mind. So from then onwards, there has been interest, but that didn't mean that I became totally a sadhu then, because it comes in trickles.
Mm.
And the conscious mind is already conscious, right? So it will not allow
Correct.
subconscious to function.
Yes.
So consciously I am watching female, consciously I am enjoying my life, consciously I am meeting my friends, consciously I am doing so many things. Consciously I am worried about my career, consciously I want to come up in life, consciously I want to earn. So all that is there consciously. Now why that happened is because again in the subconscious and the unconscious mind this was there. So it has come out. So now current state, if I say, lot of water has flown out of the conscious mind and lot of water has flown in from the unconscious mind. Now the glacier looks different. It looks even more lighter than what it was. And that glacier ice from top to down is called karma. So how do you exhaust karma? By making it hot. So the glacier melts. Ultimately becomes multiple pieces. Then it goes inside the ocean and can never become part of a glacier again. And that is supreme consciousness.
Yeah, beautiful explanation.
Okay, so now where are we? Most of the time in conscious, sometime in subconscious, and we die in subconscious mind, and that's the reason we are in fear of dying. We don't know that a person never dies and it goes to unconscious mind again. There's nothing called as you are dying anywhere.
Correct.
From this impression, you are going into another unconscious impression. And the Supreme Consciousness says that, my dear friend, again you are stuck in this glacier. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so even though it is sitting on the Supreme Consciousness, that is the floor of the ocean is Supreme Consciousness. The Supreme Consciousness is very happy to hold that glacier, even if it is 100 kgs or 1 ton or 100 tons. It is very happy to hold it. Whereas this 1 ton of glacier thinks that, look how smartly I am standing. Not realizing.
Not understanding. Yeah, what it's standing on.
Yes, what it is standing on. It is standing on the floor. So you will never find Supreme Consciousness nowhere if you search, because you yourself is that Supreme. So where will you find?
Correct.
You will never find in any mosque or temple or church or wherever you go. So now the first hindrance is sensual. For whatever reason we are born out of 5 senses. So first you have to shut down the senses. Then only it will allow you to get into the subconscious mind and then to unconscious mind. Unconscious mind doesn't require anything at all, because it has already experienced all of that. It is like a repeat telecast of a match which happened some 100 years ago.
Correct. The same thing whatever you have been doing and all that. Yes, that's true.
So it closes itself and sits. Next time.
Yeah.
We will see next time. So the outside that glacier which is there, and people see, wow, it looks so nice. And another person will say, it looks so ugly. Why it is standing there? No, it is white in color. No, it is brown. It is green. It is yellow. It is this. It is that. And this is what the skin will do. So we are obsessed of skin. So we are born. If you leave the skin, you go 90% down into the unconscious mind. But we don't want to leave the skin, because then we want to identify, right? She is my wife, she is my mother, he is my father, he is my friend, she is my this, she is my that. All on skin. So
all our decisions are also influenced by what is in this unconscious mind, subconscious mind and all that, right?
No, it doesn't. 99% it is only subconscious and conscious.
Okay.
See, when you say I saw God, you are literally seeing your unconscious mind. Which one time it happens. See, I will tell you, after that September 28, 2019 episode, I have not been able to go to all the realms of existence, right?
Right. So that would have been from your unconscious.
Exactly. That is unconscious mind made conscious by the Supreme Consciousness.
And showed you, okay, you have been to all these realms.
Yes, you have already been to all these places. Now you are having so much punya to go to this place. So am I going to that place? No, I am going into my unconscious mind. At that time, I become conscious of being a deva. After this body breaks down, after they put this body into this crematorium, that thing, consciousness will now become a deva. For it, this life is a dream. Obviously, right?
Correct.
So, oh my goodness, I woke up from a very bad dream. And that time, that Deva's wife, who would be sleeping next to me, she says, you've been hallucinating a lot. I'm seeing you from the last 2 days, which is equivalent to 200 years. that you are hallucinating. Suddenly you get up and you sweat a lot and you say that, oh my goodness, this happened. So she says, why do you go to some place and then give a shout like this? And she is perplexed because she is also unconscious. So nobody is conscious. The awareness meditation, what you learned is to be conscious.
Yeah, correct.
At least you are conscious. So
You have to be conscious of your unconscious mind also.
no, you will become conscious of the unconscious mind, and through which this conscious mind is mithya. So you're removing mithya, because the mithya here is wife, which is conscious. Truly speaking, if you go down, what is there? You will find there is a jivi.
Right.
I never married a wife, I married a jivi. And she also married a jivi. The death is to the jivi because it is going to go to unconscious mind. Now there is fear of unconscious.
We don't know what is there.
We don't know what is there now. Now all that we know is conscious. Oh, he's my husband. What will I do if my husband dies? She doesn't know that husband cannot die because he was never a husband in the first place to die. That idiot is going to go into his own unconscious mind. And that means back to the glacier water. So, what is that we are trying to achieve through spirituality? Is to go to the supreme consciousness, not even unconscious. Because there is nothing called as unconscious mind. It is conscious, but you are not able to make that conscious, really conscious.
Right. Correct.
So if we are able to get out of death, fear of death, you have become conscious. That is called turiya. The senses are the one which makes death possible.
Yeah.
So you leave the senses aside. Then you have directly entered into conscious mind, which was all along unconscious. So all your intuition starts to work from there. So then you have deleted that conscious mind forever, which was there on the top, that glacier view. That is gone. So the subconscious mind is broken away. So there is no longer you can attach it. So you have only two things left. One is conscious, another one is supreme conscious, which is Atma, Paramatma. Now this is easy.
Yeah, that's true.
Now what you have to do? Break that Atma. What it will do? Merge with Paramatma.
Done. Separated.
So the problem solved.
Correct.
So first hindrance is sensual. So you have to see, like my wife is sitting next to me, so she has a very strong inclination of hearing, and she has a very less inclination of eating. So she can practice eating, making it bland, then smelling, and she smells a lot also. So she has two strong things, hearing and smelling. Even your dog Bruno will not be able to smell as much as she smells. Bruno can come here for some training, how to smell. And she can smell anything from 1 mile distance. She'll say, this smell is coming, and we both, myself and son, will be perplexed. What smell is coming? For us, 200 meter smell itself is 5 centimeter smell itself we can't make out. Forget about miles together. Okay, so in both my son and myself, we are very bad in smelling. And in my case, I'm very bad in another thing. I cannot recognize objects. Colors. I'm very poor in colors, and if somebody doesn't meet me for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, I don't even remember his name. Forget about his face.
Yeah, same thing is with me. I forgotten all the people who have studied with me, or even when I meet somebody, I don't register unless and until I speak to them for a considerable amount of time or meet them a few times. I don't remember.
But my wife can remember everyone from my friends. That is, my friends who were in my school when she was a kid. She remembers all of them, and she can say, "This is your friend. You don't remember, is it?" And I say, "I don't know when he became my friend." So she has inclination of color, inclination of sound, inclination of smell. Only two things are missing. One is touch and one is taste. So the unconscious is only two. Conscious is all the three. So she has to remove all the five by hitting on the two and making it bland on the other three. Then she's fine.
Okay.
Then the indriyas are taken care. Now if indriyas are taken care, then what you are doing is you are removing sensuality.
In that indriyas, the thoughts are not involved.
They are involved, but these five are so strong that they will overpower the thought also.
Okay, maybe those are the ones which create the thoughts.
Exactly. So if you remove these, there is no thought.
Yeah, correct. So I'm just trying to see which is my strongest.
Don't drive the strongest. You will never win. You are on a winning horse. You cannot make it lose.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to think which is my strongest one.
Like
it's not the smell. I know. It's not the touch. It's not the sight either. It could be the sound probably.
Yes, whatever. So that is what it is. So she has to take care of three. You have to take care of whatever. I have to take care of whatever. And then what I should do is I should see the loathsomeness. Loathsomeness means disgusting. So if the taste is what I love, spit in your own plate and eat. It looks so disgusting. If you want to smell,
you don't have to spit. You can just put one hair in it.
Whatever. It's your choice. You can put a nail. You can put a hair. You can see somebody puking, or you can yourself puke. Whatever it is, and your taste will go away.
Yeah, correct.
There are many.
Yes, that's true.
Many methods like that you have to do for all. So if touch is very good for me, what I should do is, then I should immediately bring thorns. Like that day I had got that pin, right? Or that
correct.
That toothpick. You press it. It's touch only, right?
Yes.
So every female skin is like that. If I were to do that, if I am very much sensual about females, then I should do that. Or if I am very much interested in the gadgets, which are also smooth, I should do that. So it will go away. But basically, you have to find ways and means to cut them. So then the sensuality goes away. Then if sensuality goes away, other four will automatically recede. So first what he says, you do, the least one is doubt. You first have to find the appropriate teacher is the doubt. So he says, first you understand what is Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, then the remaining four I will help you to do it. So he's a very smart person. He says you will not be able to do the first four. You require teachers. So you first finalize.
Remove the doubt.
Yeah, you first finalize the teacher, and then I will help you.
Mm.
So this is how he does on the 5 hindrances. I have a meeting with Vijay in another 3 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think we can end. Then we can. I think Bhatt is also interested, so we can continue on Monday.
Okay, with the example of glacier.
Yeah, we can start with that, and then I guess slowly I feel that Tapasri will pick up this approach
Yes,
than the other approach. That she is not able to make any headway with it. The
Correct.
others Vedanta way. So this one she is picking up, I think.
yes, she's able to pick up. And that's the reason Buddha says that my dhamma is universal, sanatana.
Mm.
It is not something where you have to be ready for something.
Mm.
I will help anyone to achieve what he wants. And he's so right, because any person can understand.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think so. They'll understand the right way.
That is the only problem. That is the only hindrance, that you have to find the right teacher.
Yeah, that is the same. Correct. That is the same way for anything, right? So you need to really understand the real meaning behind it, because we have lost all that.
Yes, so you require the right teacher, and if you find the right teacher, everything is easy.
Correct.
Okay, meet you on Monday.
Okay then.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Bye.
ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಗ್ಲೇಷಿಯರ್